Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to Al Jazeera, Russian President Vladimir Putin has acknowledged that a recent surge in Ukrainian strikes targeting Russian energy infrastructure is inflicting damage on the country's economy and society. The remarks followed weeks of intensifying Ukrainian drone and missile attacks on refineries, depots, and pipelines deep inside Russia, including a strike on a major refinery in Nizhnekamsk. Putin claimed these attacks were designed to sow confusion, but insisted they would fail to divide Russian society or cause lasting economic harm, stating that the economy would quickly bounce back. In response to the strikes, Putin vowed that the Russian military would escalate attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure and called for improvements to Russia's air defenses. The conflict has also triggered a severe fuel crisis in annexed Crimea due to disrupted supply routes. Meanwhile, Ukraine maintains that its strikes are a justified retaliation for Russia's daily bombardments of Ukrainian cities. On the battlefield, Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky reported that Ukraine successfully reclaimed more territory than it lost during May. According to a United Nations Refugee Agency report highlighted by UPI, the Americas became the world's leading region for forced displacement in 2025, with 22.8 million refugees, asylum seekers, and internally displaced persons. This figure marks an increase from 21.9 million the previous year, driven primarily by ongoing crises in Venezuela, Haiti, Nicaragua, Colombia, and northern Central America. In a significant shift, Colombia emerged as the world's top host country for refugees and people requiring international protection, hosting 2.8 million individuals, mostly Venezuelans. Regularization policies implemented by Bogotá have successfully granted migrants access to documentation, employment, and public services. However, Colombia continues to battle its own severe internal displacement crisis, with 7.2 million citizens displaced by armed conflict. The report also highlighted worsening conditions in Haiti, where gang violence pushed the number of internally displaced people up by 38% to 1.4 million. Overall, approximately 1 in 5 global asylum applications in 2025 originated from the Americas, with Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico, Haiti, and Colombia being the primary nations of origin. According to UPI, SpaceX launched the largest initial public offering, IPO, in history on Friday. Trading under the ticker SPCX, the stock opened at $150 and quickly surged to a high of $172.52. This dramatic rise propelled the aerospace company's market capitalization past the $2 trillion mark, placing it alongside tech giants like Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Nvidia as one of the few U.S. companies to achieve this milestone. Elon Musk, SpaceX's CEO, celebrated the historic launch alongside President and Sotwell by ringing the NASDAQ opening bell. Musk expressed his appreciation for the SpaceX team on social media, noting that the decision to go public was driven by a need to fund a significant growth phase. This upcoming expansion includes plans to deploy over 100,000 communication satellites and establish space-based artificial intelligence data centers. Despite reporting a cumulative loss of $41.3 billion since its founding in 2002, the company's Starlink satellite internet business has reached profitability. Furthermore, Citadel Securities reported that SpaceX's debut generated the highest volume of retail trading activity of any IPO auction on record. According to GG Press, U.S. government officials stated on June 12 that negotiations aimed at ending the military conflict with Iran are not yet at the goal, but very close, emphasizing that an agreement is imminent. Multiple U.S. media outlets reported on the comments. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi also expressed a similar sentiment on social media, noting that the two nations are closer than ever to signing a memorandum of understanding. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson added that the country is in the final stage of building a consensus, indicating that efforts are underway to persuade domestic hardliners to support the deal. Furthermore, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who is mediating the talks between the U.S. and Iran, announced on June 12 that an agreement had been reached on the final wording of the memorandum. He stressed that the two sides have never been this close to peace. This diplomatic progress signals a potential end to the intense hostilities between Washington and Tehran. According to Al Jazeera, Venezuela has accused its neighbor Trinidad and Tobago of responsibility for an oil spill that has reached Venezuelan shores, threatening fragile marine ecosystems, local fishing activities, and coastal communities. The Venezuelan Foreign Ministry confirmed the spill using satellite imagery and demanded that Trinidad and Tobago fully accept responsibility and take immediate preventive measures. In response, Trinidad and Tobago's Energy Minister Rudal Munelal stated that the country has deployed its Air Guard and Coast Guard, utilizing drones and sea patrols to investigate the alleged spill. The government has also requested specific location coordinates from Venezuela and contacted the Venezuelan embassy for more details. This dispute threatens to further worsen the already strained diplomatic relations between the two nations. Tensions spiked recently after Trinidad and Tobago's new government, led by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Becerra, adopted a hardline stance on Venezuelan migration and supported United States actions that led to the capture of former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. This incident echoes a similar event in February 2024, when a tanker sank in Trinidadian waters, spreading pollution into Venezuela. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.